Hello, hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, all
We are
right,
back.
we're back after our 0th try. So this is our first try
Yes,
on trying to get the recording to work because we had some issues with circles and squares, as all intelligent people do. Um, Circles and squares are hard to differentiate between and stuff. So
I didn't go to
yeah,
preschool. Didn't know where to place each block.
no, we no preschool. We went straight to post school. So yeah, what are we doing today? How's it going?
Oh, it's going smoothly. I woke up after a revelatory night of almost getting to do all of my projects, and we found this amazing source material that we thought we had to review because it had some really insightful uh, experiences from this guy.
Yeah, like how religions and precedents have so much in common and how they affect each other. Yeah.
And so maybe we can just go straight to it because I think you're gonna find it as hilarious as us, or we hope.
Yeah, no, I if you find this like if you don't almost jump out of your chair, then when you see this, then you're at the right place because then you're gonna learn a lot of new things. But yeah, this guy is just I don't know what to say.
Unique.
Yeah, he's unique. I don't want to like insult him or anything because he's arguing, and sadly he's actually arguing better than most people do. But yeah, he's talking about 10 reasons for people leaving Christianity lately. And he sort of speaks about like all religions, but then at the end he specifies that, oh, we're talking about Christianity and stuff. And his arguments are just I started watching a minute or two at the video, and I messaged Gabin. I was like, we have to react to this. Like, this is amazing. And then I watched more, and it's just way better than what I thought. And then I checked his subscriber count, and it's like closing in on 500,000. And
Which is
so,
insane.
which is insane, yeah. Uh, and I just thought, like, well, we have to watch this because his arguments are there he uses, I mean, lately I've been studying fallacies and propaganda techniques and biases and stuff, not to use them but to like spot them in other people's argumentation. And I think he uses it all the time. Like, in some cases he doesn't even argue for his point. He's like, we know that this is what they do, we know that these people are good, we know that these people are bad, and then like, you don't actually think that this is the case. Like, he uses this sort of bandwagon argumentation, like, well, if you don't trust this, then you're insane. Is none of the argumentation, and then he like cites books and some R word statistics, where it's like those were probably priests, which is what he says. Like, these cases of assault, probably priests, and then he continues, and he doesn't say it as a joke or anything. I had to watch it back a couple of times because I was like, did he say that as a joke? And he's completely serious about it.
Yeah, but in
So
his favor, I will say he did say some truths, but purely by coincidence, I think, because the approach he used to get to some truths, I believe, do happen, is completely bollocks, if I can say so myself.
yeah, he
Uh,
was right on some things, like Adam having a belly button.
yeah, well, I think we'll talk about it. Let's
Is
first see what it is about, don't you think?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, what we can do is you can start screen sharing. We can jump right into it. We're kind of late into this, and we're supposed to start an hour earlier. But we can just, let's see here. My PC is like a tornado right now, so my mic is a little bit far away. That's why you hear me moving so far away from the microphone when I click the screen share and stuff. Let me just adjust some settings. There we go. All right. 10 razones por las que la gente abandona el cristianismo.
for
Christianismo. I used to
Spanish
play that game.
speakers.
That was like Gran Cristianismo 5 or something. This is a racing game. Um, Back from I don't know, like 2010 or something. Really, really good game. I played it a lot. Cristianismo, Gran Cristianismo. Yep.
Grande digression you're doing right now. 5.
Yeah, yeah. Stick to the topic. Oh, this is one of the reasons people are leaving Christianity. They just can't stick to the topic.
I
Yeah,
don't have the attention
that's what
span.
happens. All right. Yeah, I mean, let's just start watching this. I have to say, like, I'm for everything he says, I'm almost like jumping out of my chair. In this case, the couch, because it's so bad. Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna talk anymore about it. Sorry. Let's go
Whoops.
into it.
He's still at
Oops.
1.5
Wait.
speed.
Oh, is the audio all right? Could you just play a little bit of it?
We've seen a really huge
Yeah, that's
shift.
good.
For
That's good.
about 2 decades now, we've seen a really huge shift in this country when it comes to religious beliefs.
By the way, he
Life
You
lives in
just pause it
US
for a
Christians-
second. the way the way
before.
he moves and stuff. For
Yeah.
the past.
He looked
I
fine
just had
at
to point it out.
1.5 speed. I'm gonna say. Didn't notice.
Like, I'm not insulting him or anything. It's really, he's quite the character here. All right, yeah, no, start it again. Let's listen. Let's listen.
Okay.
For about 2 decades now, we've seen a really huge shift in this country when it comes to religious beliefs. A lot fewer Christians, a lot more people who just want nothing to do with organized religion. So why is this happening? I can boil it down to about 10 reasons. Number 1, the internet.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see
Alright.
that coming.
The the internet. Yeah, this is the first like covering. This is something that they usually say, like, oh, information. Ah, it's the worst enemy of religion and things. He's gonna say that later in the video as well, where he's like, oh, the internet. Oh, they don't want people to have knowledge because then they automatically leave religion. That's a presupposition, like you have to be dumb and
Yeah, because
unknowledgeful.
religion only lives when there is no knowledge. That's why
Yeah, that's
we
true.
get
That's true.
knowledge only by the priests.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that too.
If
But,
you went to Sunday school as a kid, maybe you asked a question like, why do Adam and Eve have belly buttons in all the pictures?
I wonder too.
Yeah, why do they have belly buttons?
Well,
This is if they don't answer, you should leave your religion. That's
yeah.
just how it is. That's like irrefutable evidence for Christianity being wrong. That people painted Adam with belly button.
No, but really, like, I think there's people who won't answer to this because they are just like, am I wrong? Is God wrong because Adam has a belly button? Like,
He gave him a belly button. What are we supposed to do?
actually, I think this is important from the other side. I think this is one of the stuff he's right about when you ask some of these questions. If people within Christianity are not 100% sure, they won't say they're not sure, because then it's like they didn't study whatever it has to be that says this, why Adam had a belly button. They won't say like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Some people really are prideful, even priests, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, but it might just come as a shock as well. Like you might not be prepared to get questions you don't know the answer to, and you get such a question as like, why does Adam have a belly button? It's like
turns
don't
off
we
the
have
brain.
more important, more interesting things to talk about? The issue I have with it is he's like using it in a video that's talking about why people are leaving Christianity. But I guess his main point is, okay, there's a bunch of questions that aren't answered and that you're not supposed to to ask. But did you look at the we? I saw you sent me some messages like with the graph and stuff that's in the beginning there.
Yeah. So,
Do you
um,
want to take a look at that now, or
yeah. We can take a quick look at it. So,
because this is like irrefutable stuff right here.
If you recall, what he said is that people are fleeing from religion as a whole, and you can
Yeah, that
see
they don't
that,
want anything to do with organized religion. Yeah.
yeah, in the very clear, well, there are two colored graphs. One is
Mhm.
the evangelical Protestant, which is going to take weight further down the line, and then there's the no religion uh,
Yeah.
plot, which, well, it looks like people just don't want to believe in Christ, and that, well, makes sense because people usually don't talk about, yes, I am a religious person. Uh,
Yeah, but most people just don't like go through their life not really like knowing any, like not not thinking about it actually.
but I
But
think there's
interesting how the like evangelical Protestant here like stays completely unchanged while the other one goes up. So it's like, well, nothing's changing here. It's just less of the other stuff.
well, there's still a downwards progression, but it's not that. It's not like it just suddenly lost all of their faith.
No, you'd see like an X here if it was people like leaving Christianity,
Yeah.
but
Well,
that's not happening.
well, the mainline Protestant is having some issues.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't know, like the different denominations and stuff. Like I don't know, you
Yeah, I'm
kind
not
of
familiar with the mainline evangelical. I think this is, uh, I think how they categorize them in the US. Maybe there's more prevalent
yeah, yeah, yeah. Might be.
categories in the US.
Yeah. Even so, though, like you you tend to go for the thing that's closest to you, like the. So I don't know, like, do they count the amount of people in a certain church ministry, or do they
No,
count people who vote, or
they count
I
the
don't know.
people that are active members. Well, active members, just members of that church. So when
Okay,
you join a
okay.
church, you get some of your data, so they know. Okay, so you're here. We can call you.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so that
Yes.
is what they share. It's not just like, yes, I asked 5 people, and this is what happened with the 5 people, or 50,000 for that matter. It's still a low amount of people. You can do these sort of graphs with a poll because you can't ask that many people.
No, no. Also, what time span is this graph over? Does it say here?
Yeah, from 1972 to 2018.
Oh, great. Yeah, 1972, I think we were like 4 billion people. So we have the introduction of 4 billion new souls, like a doubling in population as well,
Yeah,
from
but
that time to
since
now.
it's a percentage, uh, doesn't matter really that there's more people. It
Oh no, I'm
matters
just
where they
saying. I'm just
shift.
saying that the process of becoming religious and the amount of people, etc. All of this is connected in in a lot of ways. It takes some people a lot of time as well, and more generations, because the people like the 1972 people have born the people of the have given birth to the people of the early 2000s, and that's us. So you know, depends where you're born, what you're born into, etc. But the main point here is he's using this graph to speak about people leaving Christianity, right? Or a surge in people who don't want anything to do with religion. But just because people don't have religions doesn't mean they don't have a theistic mindset or a rationale within a realm of mysticism or something like that, right? It's just that they're not part of the church. And like me example, I would probably not be counted in one of these graphs if they did something like this in Norway. And I'm absolutely religious, but I would be counted under no religion probably.
Yeah, there's the
Um,
other faith that you would probably be counted under, the
yeah, so
6%.
for me, like this thing, since it's not explicitly atheism, this is like having a vote in a country where very few people vote over whatever the vote is, like very few care. And so you end up making a graph for the people who don't care and say that they're voting for
It
someone
looks like,
by
yeah,
the name of non-voting, right? And so you so you get this thing in the middle where they think that, oh, all of these people mean the same, and it's like, no, that's not true.
it's
These things are categorized very thoroughly, and this one thing is everything else, and so that's why we have this search.
yeah, it's not that people have become atheistic and hate
No,
God, but rather, uh, I think this is also coupled with the current trend of misinformation that we live in, because it looks as if people don't know what to believe because there's just too much information. And I think he's
yeah,
going
yeah,
to talk about this topic, but in an interested way. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but
Is
from the
is the
other side,
globalism,
yeah,
right? Because all the cultures are sort of flowing into each other when we get all of these weird denominations on the side. I also think there's more types of Christianity nowadays as well than there were. So it might be spread out like that. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, anyways, it's a silly argument if he's using this as an argument. I'm not saying like, we're 6 seconds into the video. I'm not saying that this is his main point or anything. We'll handle more of that later, but so far it's not looking good.
so we can go back to the belly button.
Back to the belly buttons. Very, very
Beneath have
important stuff
belly
here.
buttons in
Powerful.
all the pictures. And the teacher didn't answer you, or she told you to just have faith. Or maybe you were older and you asked your pastor if
Just
Anne
have
Frank,
faith in belly
the
buttons.
Jewish girl with the diary in World War II,
Yes.
was burning in hell right now because she never accepted Jesus in her life.
Right, stop here for a second. Okay, so where does it ever say that? I've heard this argument so many times, like people saying, "Oh, what about the Neanderthals?" or "What about all these people before?" It's like, well, it says that those people are getting judged their own way, right? It's not like, oh, Jesus wasn't born yet, so everyone's going to hell. Like, that's not how it works. And if you didn't know of it, then that doesn't mean that you're going to hell either. Like, we have a bunch of people who don't believe in Jesus being God, let's say, in the Trinitarian sense, that would still go to heaven, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, there's regarding this topic, there's this really funny Chinese immigrant comedian that was talking about when he got into the US, and so he was seeing that there were a lot of people saying, "Have you seen God? Do you follow Christ?" And he says, "Well, I mean, there's a lot of people here. I don't follow Christ specifically. I don't even know who he is."
Is it the short, long-haired Jimmy?
No,
That
no,
guy?
no. It's not
No,
that
okay,
guy.
okay,
It's a
okay,
different
okay,
one.
okay.
Yeah, but
I
he
was hoping.
says, uh, well, I don't know who he is, and they say, "Well, if you don't follow Christ, you go to hell." And he's like, "Well, but there's a lot of people back in China who didn't follow Christ, and do they go to hell?" And then they're like, "Yeah, no, but like they don't know about Christ, so they're not going to go to hell. But now you know."
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
he's like, "Well, then why did you tell me?"
yeah. You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a recurrent argument of
yeah,
why did you tell me? Now I have to be held accountable for my decisions.
yeah. No, it would be strange because you could take this argument anywhere. Like me and Gabin were talking later, like earlier today, about eugenics and how you could move like the standard of genetics, and if you start removing the people with so-called lower genetic value, which I believe is bollocks. I mean, you have to pressure test the standards for that stuff. You can't just go around saying, "Oh, this is worse and this is better," and because I said so. Uh, and the standard would just get higher and higher and higher, but the standard that or the below average would also become higher and higher. So the same thing happens here, where it's like, well, if we say that we have Protestantism and Catholicism, right, or Catholicism, yeah, and you say that, oh, the Catholics are right, then you remove the Protestants, and okay, let's say that's 50-50. Then we have within Catholicism, there's still different types of beliefs within that, and different denominations. And so you'd now get the question, who is right here? And in the end, you get sort of a infinite regress into the no true Scotsman type argumentation here, where you end up with, well, there's no true Christian that follows everything completely right, and the chances of doing that by accident is close to zero. And so we have to sort of zoom out here and realize that's not what Christianity is about. It's not about following all the rules absolutely. It's about repenting and accepting and being grateful for being saved. That's what it's about. And so my answer at least would be that yeah, Anna Frank would probably go to heaven, or not, depending on certain things. Not the fact that she didn't know who Jesus was.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
That's
know
not an
her.
issue.
Maybe she was evil in the background and nobody
Yeah,
knew.
no, you never know. She did get to the fire though, didn't she?
Well, you would have to pressure test if that's hell or not.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, let's move on. Not
And
no
he just
good
gave
arguments
you
so
a
far though.
weird look like you're not supposed to bring that up. But if you had doubts about religion, that's what you did. You asked your priest, you asked a religious leader, or you asked your parents who told you to ask the priest.
Well, I think this is just what you do normally, right? If you don't know something, you would rather ask an expert.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I I don't ask because I have doubts. Like that's not the only reason you ask about things.
You have curiosity as well.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of. I mean, humans weren't just put on this planet and started having doubts about everything, and that led to us questioning things, and then we started science. Like, science isn't a product of doubt; it's a product of curiosity, right? That's what we humans are known for, being extremely curious, and we want to drive progress forwards. So that, again, I don't think. I mean, yes, he's right. That's what you do when you have doubts. You ask questions, or you seek out answers. But I don't think that's like universally applicable for any question. Like I ask a bunch of questions about faith and a bunch of really critical ones to my own faith. Doesn't mean I'm doubting.
It
So
means
yeah,
you
no,
don't know.
it means I don't know. Yeah, and I'm willing to admit that. On the opposite side, we have this guy, which we're gonna figure out knows
It was
everything.
really the only option you had.
Well, I don't think that's true. Like
Yeah.
I grew up in a Christian family, and I think you can really have a lot of people you can ask rather than the priest.
Yeah. No,
But
I mean,
if you're asking about Adam or Eve, like either your your parents know, or you could just ask someone who knows better, right? You
yeah,
are
and
going
his
to
first
ask a
argument
friend
is the
about it.
internet, right? So if you have these, why would you have to ask your priest? Why would it have to be blind faith or? Oh yeah, well he's
He's
actually here.
arguing
He's
that,
arguing like in the
yeah,
past. Yeah. No.
yeah, but either way, I wouldn't go to the internet to seek why Adam had a belly because he didn't really have a phone, so uh,
No,
yeah, I would
me
ask
neither.
an
So
expert. But the thing is that, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Let's go on.
I think you could figure that out. Like if God wanted humans to be a certain way, then why wouldn't He create them the way that they would look as when they're first created? I find that completely logical. That if that's a product of the birth process and the separation of the mother and the child, then why not have that be the same on those humans that are created? Of course, Adam and Eve are different from other human beings
I'd
because they're created
imagine,
by God, but they're still humans. Why should anything be different?
I'd imagine Cain and Abel, if Adam and Eve didn't have, or maybe they didn't have, we don't know. But if they didn't have belly buttons, they would be like, "Why do I have one? why do
Yeah.
why do you not? What is so special about you?"
This is unfair. Yeah.
I don't think actually it's that relevant at all because it would work either way if they had or not.
Yeah,
And
this
the
doesn't
painting
matter.
is still an interpretation from the painter,
Yeah,
and he didn't
yeah.
know.
No, he just drew humans because, the first two humans, and they know what humans look like. So, yeah. So far we have the critique belly buttons and Anne Frank burning. So he's mistaking fire for hell and belly buttons and artists for scripture.
But once there was a way to ask questions about religion in private, online, it became much easier to recognize the problems with faith, and that you're not alone in questioning your beliefs. Just ask ex-Mormons who have read the CES letter, or Christian fundamentalists who finally saw easy to understand explanations for how science works, and
Wait,
why
what was the last thing he says? Easy to understand explanations.
How
Is he
science works.
Is he trying to say that like the Bible is a bad explanation for science or something?
Don't think it explains science at all, right?
No, it's a historical text, right? God inspired historical text. Can we hear that again? Just give me from the Mormon thing.
once there was a way to ask questions about religion in
Little
private,
forward.
online, it became much easier to recognize the problems with faith, and that you're not alone in questioning your beliefs. Just ask ex-Mormons who have read the CES letter, or Christian fundamentalists who finally saw easy to understand explanations for how science works, and
What does that have to do with anything? Wait, okay, so Christian fundamentalist, right? Is there anything about that denomination that I'm like unaware of that makes them think that whatever it says, like everything ever is in the Bible? Like,
I
is
think
that
there's
something they
people
believe?
like that.
But that doesn't make sense. It doesn't say anything about how to operate your vacuum cleaner in
I
the
think
Bible.
rather than that is that whatever the Bible says is not up to interpretation, which is different to what he's saying. I think he just doesn't believe that.
Well,
there
that would be
was-
strange because in the Psalms you have flowers singing and packs of wolves and stuff like that. And so that's poetry, and poetry is specifically made for interpretation, right? Like this is.
Well, yeah, accepting poetry, of course, but uh, I mean, they believe that there's a 7-day process in which man was created. In
Yeah.
that way, I agree with them.
But either way, you can't prove. I mean, you'd have to understand how time works in the Bible. It's sort of different the way it's explained in the Bible. But I don't think it has anything to do with modern day science. And the separation of them is kind of strange. Because the Bible isn't a scientific book. And so I don't know why Christian fundamentalists getting easy to understand explanations about how science works is anything to think about here. And this didn't suddenly happen with the internet, by the way. We've had books criticizing religion since like always. Like this is not and don't come at me with the like, oh, but everyone can't read and stuff. I mean,
Nobody can
there's
read.
nobody can read. Yeah. Because they're stupid. Unlike this guy, he's an atheist. He's enlightened. All right, yeah. Let's just continue. Let's just look at it.
Wait,
and why we don't owe our existence to Noah and his ark.
Wait, no, you have to stop again.
I think that's what he meant with a fundamentalist. I think he just doesn't believe that there was an ark with all the species of animals in existence.
Why would we have to owe our existence to Noah and his ark, though? Like, God would still create new humans if he didn't let Noah survive.
We don't know.
He was gonna remake everything, right? And he just let Noah be.
But we don't know. That's the truth. We don't know.
Well, he said that he's gonna do it all again.
Well, he said, I'm going to beat the crap out of this species who is misbehaving.
Yeah, but I don't see why you would have to thank Noah. I mean, who?
Yeah, no, that's...
Like, what Christian fundamentalist would thank Noah for their existence?
No.
Well, maybe he would if he was
would.
one. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
My
there's
bad.
a reason he left church. He just didn't get it.
Yeah. That's true.
Having information at your fingertips is the worst thing that could have happened to religion.
My God.
He makes it sound like it's some terrorist regime. Like we're under Sharia law here.
We
Like
are
no blasphemy, no
in North
information.
Korea
Yeah. No,
currently.
this would like. Yeah, that's horrible. That's the worst insult ever. Like for some religions, I'd actually say yes, but I mean, people forget how science came about. I mean, there's so many sources that would confirm the belief that Christianity brought about the belief in intelligibility of the universe, and that this led to us searching out the different well the different writings on the wall, I'd say, like of the universe, and so that led into scientific progression. You can see the statistics left by Christianity there all over the place. It's just such a strange thing claim to make that information is the worst thing for Christianity. I mean, if you say historically, I mean, the crucifixion of Jesus is one of the most, if not the most, well documented fact ever. And if you're a historian that doesn't believe in the crucifixion of Jesus, then you're out walking in a snowstorm. We don't know where you are, not within any historical context. So yeah, no, I don't know what he's saying here. He might just not know
I
that.
think I have a theory of what he's saying. I think he's misapplying the target audience of what the internet would cause to people, because he's talking about them as if they didn't have any other source of uh, communication other
Yeah,
than the
like books,
priests.
thinking, talking,
Yeah,
writing.
because there, people still exist, and there were a lot of people back in the day that didn't have internet and were still non-religious. So the only people that this would apply is the people that are the more extreme parts of religion, that they
Hmm.
just don't include any of the modern society commodities into their lives, and they still don't. So this literally applies to no one,
Yeah, like Amish people or,
because the
or
people
something like
that are
that.
living are still not the ones that are within those ultra uh, like what's the word, like fundamentalists.
Yeah.
No, those are still doing their own thing.
Yeah, two things that I've found he does a lot. He does one fallacy a lot, and he does a propaganda technique. The propaganda technique is cherry picking. So you pick one thing to represent the whole, and the fallacy so okay. Let me give you an example of that first. So he can say things like he can pick instances where a priest has done something horrible, or he also says like a precedent that was voted for by Christians, which you can find a lot of precedents that were voted for by Christians, and he finds that they did something horrible, and then he says that's not good for the religion because he did something horrible. Christians voted for him, therefore um, correlation equals causality, and so he basically says that's why, and that's bad for Christianity, and that's bad for religion, and that's basically cherry picking. I could do this with anything, right? So if Gabin here, uh, when visiting me, let's say he stumbled once, and I just look at that one moment, and I tell some people about, like, oh, I met this Spanish guy. His name's Gabin, and he stumbles. So all Spanish people are really really bad at walking. So when he stumbled, it's really bad for the Spanish people because it shows how bad they are at walking, right? That's
I mean,
that.
that's
First of all,
okay.
I'm cherry picking a specific situation to represent everything, and I'm also doing the fallacy, which is called a hasty generalization. So I'm taking a little bit of information and I'm trying to apply to everything instantly.
Well, I
Now,
would rather
yeah,
say that if I did a survey on Norway about the people I met, who were not a lot, I would say half of them have blue tainted hair, 10% are going to beg you for money because of that dude we saw outside of the store. And
Yeah.
so I would cherry pick something that is further from the truth.
Yeah, and that's more accurate than what he's saying right now. So, but yeah, I don't know, like this guy, I don't see how he would believe that like nothing existed before the internet. I don't know. I can't really see that. Doesn't look like he doesn't
He
look
looks
like
like he
someone
lived
who'd believe
before
that.
the internet.
Yeah, he doesn't act like it though. All right. Yeah, so that's what he does. He does a lot of cherry picking and a bunch of hasty generalizations. You'll see that through the video. This just gets better and
Because
better.
religion historically relied on people just believing what the priest told them. You're not
Okay,
supposed to.
historically, right? People did that historically.
Well, if you go back to the medieval times, you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
make a case for it.
it's
And that's part
extremely
of history.
historically. Yeah, and at that point, no one knew what was going on. Like absolutely no one. People were just boring their brains out building castles in England or something. I don't know. Like no one knew what they were talking about. It's not like they had this secret society of people who were like, we know religion is wrong. Da, da, da. No, faith was still a real thing. Just no one knew. I'd say people are closer in knowledge then about the what it says in the Bible and stuff than now, because now the people who know so much and they have so many studies to keep track of and defending
And there's a
their
lot more
arguments at a
people.
higher scientific level.
There's a lot more people that just know because somebody told them. They
Yeah.
haven't. They don't have the attention span to read the Bible.
Yeah. No, TikTok stuff. They need the TikTok Bible.
I'm a sinner in this case. It takes a lot of effort,
So
but I
so
still
yeah,
do it.
no, yes. Sorry to pause it so quickly, but I mean what he says there is just so funny because in the context, no one knew what they were doing at the point that he's talking about, where like no one had the information or whatever, and so people weren't even reading at this point. So yeah.
Figure religion out on your own. You're supposed to go through them. There's a reason the Catholic Church feared the invention of the printing press.
Did they?
Well, I think
Did they fear it?
I'm not sure.
It happened in China after all, so I don't know how they would,
I guess they would.
like China in the 1300s.
But even
How did they?
if I, let's say, as an engineer, I invented the product, and I had, the instructions manual, but people would start printing their own instruction manuals or just like posting them on the internet, and I would be like,
Yeah.
wait, this is not how my machine works.
Oh yeah, wait. He's actually also cherry picking the Catholic people here, right? Didn't they write things in their scriptures that aren't actually there and stuff?
Yeah.
So them fearing it. I mean, I would expect that. I mean, nothing against Catholics like that. Like it's completely fine. I mean, we're all uniting around the scripture. That's what it's all about. But I mean, if anyone during the time of the printing press would be afraid of the book being published, it would be them, right? It wouldn't be the Protestants.
I would be afraid because, new thing, curiosity. Let's just make random stuff and print it. That's the first
I
thought.
wonder what the first flyer was. Like when you write like a random file and you just give it a test
I
name
think
or
it's
something like
lorem
that.
ipsum. The first flyer.
Might have been. All right, yeah, no, so this is a strange thing. Let's listen some more before we...
People reading the Bible for themselves was not good news. The internet was an even bigger deal for people who grew up in insular communities. Ultra-Orthodox Jews who were not supposed to access that sort of information about the outside world. Young Muslims from conservative families who saw that life was pretty good even if you don't live under Islam. Mormons who looked up Joseph Smith and realized all kinds of surprises.
Can I say something?
What a great face.
I love how we're talking about why people are leaving Christianity. It's like, oh, and in these communities, now we're still talking about Christianity, right? where people were not supposed to access this information. And he's talking about Christians still, the Jews, the Mormons, and, and he just continues down the path of like Islam, the Muslims, under Sharia, and it's like, wait, what?
The title is about Catholics, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Either way.
he chooses Catholics who are not close to the scripture. Then he speaks about Jews, ultra orthodox ones. Then he speaks about Islam and Muslims. Then he speaks about Mormons, right? Where what does this have to do with anything? Like, can he mention a Christian group where they're not supposed to access information about the religion? Or just were they just fearing
I
like,
think he's cherry picking the moments in history when he speaks, because yes, this was before internet and before the printing press.
yeah. Oh, people were dying after people died after the printing press was invented. It's a horrible invention.
I think at that point the Bible must have been a really valuable asset for people. So
Yeah.
I think it's similar to NFTs, where people are just going to print their own NFTs and they're going to lose value.
Yeah,
And I think
I don't I
they
don't know.
might be frightful for losing their Bible value. I don't know. There were a lot of
Yeah.
politics mixed in
Yeah.
back in
But
the day.
yeah, the thing I just wanted to point out is that he's like, oh, they were not supposed to access this information. The Jews, the Muslims, the Mormons, that none of those are from a Christian denomination. So yeah, get to the point.
Yeah, no, the Jews don't believe in
Of
Christ.
Smith and realized all kinds of surprises. Today, a kid sitting in the pews because her parents made her go to church can fact check the pastor on her phone in real time and know
Yeah,
That
because
is
you
right.
don't need to know what you're doing, right? To fact check people. You can just search up whatever opinion you want to believe, like this guy does, and then you find the irresistible, irrefutable refutation.
he's lying while his mouth is still moving.
Like this guy.
Like this guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
can
let's move
continue.
on.
Google is religion's greatest enemy since Charles Darwin.
It might be people's worst enemy since Charles.
Well,
Charles
yeah.
I don't know.
It just makes people um, investigate less and believe the first result.
Yeah. Because before you'd read a book, and a book has a lot of context. Today you'll write reasons Christianity isn't true. And then if the first one says reasons Christianity is true, you'll just skim past and you
That's
find
the
the
thing
thing you're looking
about
for. Yeah.
search engines, that they search what you ask them to search, and you'll get the result.
Yeah.
Number 2, politics. Look, it's no secret I'm a
Non-controversial.
liberal, but I do think the merging of white evangelical Christianity with the Republican Party,
Wait, what did you say?
especially in the past. Look, it's no secret I'm a liberal, but I
Okay, yeah, I
It's
guess.
not secret I'm liberal, but so
But
he already
did he say
acknowledges.
white evangelical religion?
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No.
there's also the black churches in US.
Is there a difference between white and black evangelical?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, have you not ever seen the black churches in the United States?
Yeah, but I'm talking about like
Religion-wise,
the skin color. What does it change about the evangelical religion?
it's not about the skin color, but about the discrimination. And so, well, they were discriminated and made their own church.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and
Right.
way better music.
Yeah, no, their rhythm is up to the point.
Have you seen Blues Brothers?
I don't know.
You should. The gospel scenes in that is amazing. All right.
Anyways,
Yeah.
he seems like he wants to talk.
do think the merging of white evangelical Christianity with the Republican Party, especially in the past 2 decades,
This seems so biased.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh
yes,
my.
so I'm a leftist, and they're doing things wrong.
Yeah, and there are Christians who are Republican, and therefore all Christians are Republican.
Would have been better for him to say, like, not say whether he believed in the left or the right.
Yeah, like if you're going to, I don't think this entire like politics argument works, like at all. Like why
Let's see
people
what
are
he says
leaving.
about it, because
Yeah,
I
let's see
think
what he
there's
says first.
something interesting that we can debate on.
It's when the Republican presidents we've had have been such disasters has been bad for both sides.
Yeah, both sides of politics, not both sides of religion.
Yeah.
It's already hurting evangelicals. Their numbers are dropping. I can only
What?
hope they drag the GOP down with them in the long term. Think about
How did
this.
he get here?
Um,
Let's look it out. Oh, terrible Republican president. So this is
Yeah,
bad for the evangelicals.
the
What a
he's
jump.
saying that the evangelicals voted for the Republican president back in 2010. No, 2008, I think it was.
Yeah.
And therefore, when he made bad decisions, it hurt their numbers. And we can go back to that graph when he starts speaking about it.
Yeah.
George W. Bush entered office in 2000.
Okay, so here are the different religious affiliations for each party.
Yeah.
And the red is what he's saying, that, well, Gore is the Democrat and Bush is the Republican.
Mm-hmm.
They stay the same throughout the whole graph. It's like they don't change at all, no matter the president.
Yeah.
And I was searching before about what the shifts in political understanding of the populace were in the US, and it said a lot of youth just didn't care if we were under a regime like an authoritarian regime or a democracy. Just didn't matter.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, 50% said yes, democracy. Then 30 something was like, it makes no difference.
Nihilists or like political nihilism. I don't know.
Yeah. And
Alright.
20% I think preferred to be, I don't know, I don't remember right now. Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
And here, well, if they regretted it, right, the change, the numbers would change, but they're the same. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. And also, he said they fell down because of it. But if we go back to the graph, right?
Yeah.
So the election is, allow me to go a little bit further back, if I can. That is. There we go. So we can see the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2008 might be over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just like had a little growth and then stayed the same throughout the Bush administration. It didn't really affect them at all. Like this downward trend did not start because of it.
No, definitely not.
It started way back in like 1990 something.
I don't know. He doesn't mean that like less people started voting for the Republicans or something.
No,
I mean, that
he
would
said
make
that
sense.
it hurt the numbers in the evangelical Protestant. That's why it's in red.
Yeah, okay. So he's just contradicted himself here.
Yeah, no, he has an impression, but he didn't fact check it.
Yeah, I think we were at 3 something.
Let's see.
He instituted faith-based programs.
A little bit further back.
Yeah.
Cell research to avoid upsetting the anti-Christian.
312, I think.
He
there
embraced their movement. He talked about his relationship with God all the time. Then he limited stem cell research to avoid upsetting the anti-abortion crowd. He nominated anti-gay justices.
Well, him nominating anti-gay, I mean, in the early 2000s, I mean, this gay acceptance thing is quite new, right? So finding pro-gay people would be hard, right? It's not like he was like, where are the anti-gays? I need them.
He's a politician, right? He will seek the... Like, even if he asked a multi-billionaire and he had a lot of people behind him, well, then his regime would change direction just because
Mm-hmm.
of the number of followers. There's not like they seek the votants, like the voters.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really seek, yes, like I'm very good and he's bad, so I'm going to do a good administration. Like it's politics in general. It does not work like that. It's not like,
No, no.
yeah.
It's very strange. So he
But what he
limited
said,
stem cell research? How would he even do that? I mean, maybe
didn't
maybe
put resources on it.
yeah, but that doesn't have to mean that he's like going for, oh no, what if they figure out that abortion is great? Uh-huh. Like that. I think he's just like thinking, there was less money into healthcare. This is because he wanted to do this. And then it's like, oh, he also chose people that weren't explicitly for gay marriage, so he has to have picked anti-gay on purpose. This is 2008. Like, come on, man. He's assuming so much.
to the
I
Supreme
mean, I'd
Court.
have to see the
He
data.
Yeah.
instituted faith-based programs using taxpayer money. But even more than that,
The thing about yeah, he's using our taxes. Like, dude,
The president using our taxes
for something I don't like.
for yeah. What is this? Huh? I'm not agreeing with this president and what he uses all of our money on absolutely everything. I don't agree with this person on absolutely everything down to the smallest minute detail. Disagreements? No, we can't have that. That means the other person is horrible if I disagree with them. That's so strange. I mean, you got to be able to disagree on some
So
things.
he's saying that the numbers on the ones that voted him went down because he did the things they wanted, which
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
no sense. He's just saying that he
Faith-based
didn't like what
programs.
he did.
Yeah. He's also saying, oh, he invested in faith-based programs. It's like it's not like a criticism of whether or not those programs worked.
He assumes they're bad because
He
he
just
doesn't
says
like them.
they're faith-based, and then he's expecting us to think, oh yeah, that means bad.
Yeah.
That means they must not have worked. He doesn't provide any like evidence for anything here.
We can go further.
he was famously ignorant.
Now that's personal.
Yeah, this is the bias is going a little bit far now. Like he's
Led us into an unnecessary war.
Like every other single president that went
yeah,
to a
yeah.
war.
Except
Screwed
for
up the
one that he was
response.
going to criticize later.
Wait. I think he says something really hilarious now.
Ignorant, led us into an unnecessary war, screwed up the response to Hurricane Katrina, appointed religious ideologues to his cabinet, and was generally so awful.
Yes.
So okay, a bunch of personal opinions and
Yeah.
then like religious ideologues, so people with religious opinions and then wait, what did he say after that?
He didn't handle your Hurricane Katrina, so
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
he's bad.
Yeah. That
Anyways,
means he's Hitler.
the
So
thing
can you go 5 seconds back and listen to just the last thing he said?
Ideologues to his cabinet, and was generally so awful that Barack Obama got elected in 2008. Do you know how badly Republicans had to screw up for Americans to do something as incredible as that?
yeah, this part I played it back like 20 times.
I think he just hates America or something. Oh my. So he's basically saying that we were so racist in like around 2008 and stuff that the president had to be awful for us to pick a black president after.
Yeah. And
I mean, what this guy he's just like using his own personal beliefs so heavily in this. In politics, I'm going to be honest, he's just talked about politics. He hasn't talked about why it has made people leave Christianity, which I'm sorry to say, Mr. Friendly Atheist, that's the point of your video.
yeah.
Oh my.
Uh
We're allowed to make digressions. He's not. This is a
yeah.
supposed to be stream
Also,
format.
also he mentioned, well, nah, I think we're going to go forward.
This is so obvious though.
Yeah.
My point is this: when religion is so closely tied to a president, and that president is bad, it's not good for the religion. What else have conservative Christians?
Wait. Okay, so a bunch of issues there. One, the religion is not tied to the president. Okay, that's the wrong way around. A president can be tied to a religion. That's fine. In this case, the president has religious associations. Okay, that doesn't mean the president is connected to religion largely in his politics, and it does not mean that the religion is connected to the president. So what he's done here is said, here's a guy that I don't agree with. He appears to have been of this religion, and
Publicly.
therefore the religion is based on him and connected to him. And so, since he did things that I don't agree with, and so everyone shouldn't agree with, that means that the religion is something that all those people that should agree with me also should agree with. That isn't good.
Yeah,
So
I said
it's
he got elected in 2008, but it was 2000 actually. The thing is,
okay.
he got re-elected.
Oh yeah, because he was so terrible and made such terrible decisions and stuff. He
Yeah.
was reelected. Yeah. So
And they
he's
can't get
basically saying,
elected more
I
than
don't
once.
agree with this person, and they were Christian. Therefore, I choose to say that the Christian religion is tied to that president. Right? The religion is global, right? The president is of United States, and he's talking about politics in general. I don't know. Is he talking about general, like in America? Because even
Yeah.
then, it doesn't work. Because he says, I don't agree with this person, and that person is religious. Therefore, I don't agree with the religion.
And
And
they are going
and
to suffer for it.
and therefore, the people that do believe in that religion are probably leaving. Like, no, if the people of the religion get what they want, they're not going to leave the religion. So, like, oh, I want a new terrace on my house. That would make everything great. Then I get it, and I'm like, oh, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
The house
And
isn't the same
it's
anymore.
not like it was only for the people of that religion, because he got re-elected and you need
He
more.
got elected by a bunch of other people, too,
Yeah.
like, who did agree with what he did and what he said. And he even got reelected, right? So yeah, I have to emphasize this again. Because this president was religious and this guy doesn't agree with him, the religion that that president believes in must be as bad as this guy thinks the president was, and therefore the people that do believe in this religion and that president and think he was great must have left because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
sorry.
no
That
sense.
is incredibly stupid. I'm sorry. I don't want to insult or anything, but he cannot have thought through that. Just because you disagree with someone and you also disagree with whatever they hold as a position does not mean that everyone else disagrees with that person and everyone else probably left that thing. No, they were probably flourishing while you were thinking of how terrible the president was.
Done politically at the highest levels? Well, they supported Sarah Palin in 2008. That didn't help. Then they abandoned their whole Christianity Matters thing to support Donald Trump.
Yes. Another
What
bad
does this have to
president.
do with whether they leave or not? He's having a rant about personal political beliefs and whether or not they had good effects according to him, and things not helping, etc. Like Christians not making perfect political decisions according to him. But how would that? He says they elected her and they elected him, etc. And then they left to like this Christianity Matters thing to vote for Donald Trump. Okay, so they got everything they wanted according to him. Why would they leave their religion if this is the case? What is his point?
That
My
maybe
brain
there were
hurts.
people within the religion that did not think like the majority of the religion.
Yeah, but the religion isn't tied to the presidential. I don't
No,
get it.
but they helping the president. Like they publicly saying, "Let's vote this president."
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
that
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 doesn't
happens all the
correlate with
time.
the graph though, because I think it was 63%.
Yeah, no. I mean,
It's not a lot more than 50%, and it
no, no.
stayed the same. So yeah, no, agree to disagree in this case.
Yeah, like people don't become Christian because they want to vote for Donald Trump. Like, sorry, that doesn't happen, and so no one left. I think he's just on a rant here.
The religion.
Let's
What else
continue.
have conservative Christians done politically at the highest levels? Well, they supported Sarah Palin in
Oh,
2000 Humanity Matters thing to support Donald Trump. He's only in power because white evangelicals propped him up and overwhelmingly voted for him. I don't need to tell you all the ways Trump is a disaster, but many prominent white evangelicals have still not run away or distanced themselves from him.
yeah, he's saying that Donald Trump is bad. These people like Donald Trump, and they should distance themselves from him because I don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what?
so I don't think this is even
This has nothing to
debatable.
do with people leaving.
Which means everything Trump does will be associated with evangelical Christianity. And
What? What?
I
I mean,
don't think that would even work.
is he even aware that like the the slogan for America itself is "In God We Trust"? It's
Yeah.
on the dollar bill, on
No,
the
but he's
plane.
an atheist, so he doesn't like it. He
No, but
wants the
I
trend
don't
to
get it. Like
continue.
in the court, I mean, everyone has to swear by the Bible. All of these things are ingrained in the society. This
Yeah,
doesn't mean that everything will be associated with evangelicals. I don't remember anyone talking about Christianity and Trump as an issue. I just think him wearing those glasses, whatever's on the other side, just sees everything through this atheistic versus Christian, they, them
or rather Democrat
view. So,
added.
like, when he sees something that is mildly associated with Christianity, like if he sees two lines crossing, he's like, "Oh, that's referencing Jesus' crucifixion. That must be evil." Like, what? What is this guy? What is this way of thinking? I don't get it.
honestly,
I
all
don't.
Christians, because most people don't know the differences, for years to come. If you don't like Trump, and most young people don't,
An assumption.
Yeah.
They the youth generally didn't like Trump when he got elected, but
The youth generally doesn't vote.
yeah, they were also not really voting for anyone. And now there's a, a resurgence for Trump. He
Yeah.
wouldn't know because this video is some years old.
Yeah. 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 No, this is so strange.
The youth is the youth. So there's something bad, they're going to change very fast. In opinion.
And he's again saying something that he believes to be bad that hasn't led to a bunch of people leaving in a video about Christianity, like people leaving Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah, has nothing to do with it.
even if they don't always vote, they're not about to join a
Even
club
said
that
it.
treats him as a good guy. Maybe the one good thing George W. Bush did is he
Wait,
helped
wait, wait,
so
wait, wait, wait,
many
wait.
people.
So young people are not gonna join Christianity because Christianity treats Trump as a good guy. I don't know. I've seen, at least in my ministry, 50-50 people I've ever met that are Christian, like Trump or not. Actually, more people here don't like Trump than not. Than do like him. I don't see, like, he's just like, oh, because Christian people voted for it, then people are leaving Christianity now because he was so terrible. According to him again. Like, this is a disaster. He's taking everything through. He should take off his glasses. I think that would help him to see, like, that it isn't through his perspective that the world exists. The world's existence and people's choices are not based on his opinions. Maybe he actually believes that, like, his opinions are so waterproof that not believing in them is just being dumb. Like maybe that's what he's thinking. So like, well, if you don't believe that Trump was a disaster, then what are you even doing? I mean, and since it was correlated with Christianity, then why aren't you leaving? I mean, the people who stay are basically amoebas. They're not even thinking, so they can't be part of Christianity. Like what? At the same time as saying that, oh, thinking is the worst enemy, or Google is the worst enemy of Christianity. I don't get it. And he's still not to the point, by the way. So
But Biden also is a religious person, I believe.
yeah. And yeah, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. So he's going to put a good video about why Christians are joining, why people are joining Christianity
Yeah.
because
It's
of
all gonna
Biden.
be about Biden. Like what? I don't get it. This
People
politics
recognize
argument is horrible.
Yeah.
the moral bankruptcy of conservative Christianity.
And now he's going to attack the
Wait,
morals.
moral bankruptcy
Yeah.
of Christianity. Okay, Christianity is what
Number
we base our
three,
morals on. Good luck.
morals. Conservative Christians and the politicians they support
Why are we still talking about politics?
Yeah, let's
have
just
failed
go through.
on the easiest moral questions of our time. Should gay people be allowed to get married?
Wait, when he says failed,
Failed according
so
to
he
his
has
standards.
the answer. He has the answer to the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've failed to answer the questions as he wants. Just to be clear here, he has the answer. He says, so he's not a moral relativist, which atheists famously are. He says, I have the morals because my opinion is the absolute, and they've failed to answer them. Okay, let's see what these questions are. So about gay people and marriage and stuff. Okay.
And the politicians they support have failed on the easiest moral questions of
I don't think they're easy questions in either way, but
our time. Should gay people be allowed
Easy
to
for
get
him. He's so
married?
smart. So I mean, gay people being allowed to be married, right? There's so many studies on this, right? Like he should read a study if he knows what that means, like a study that like a psychological study on let's say adoption by gay couples on children and the effects that has, etc. Like and gay marriage, even for the people in the marriages and stuff like this. Find any study really, and you'll find that there's a bunch of bad stuff correlated with that. I'm not saying that gay people shouldn't be allowed to marry. I mean, a gay friend of mine actually was married not too long ago, and I was there. I was there as the, I don't know what it's called in English, but I was the wedder, I suppose.
yeah.
And but I mean, Christianity only says that it's a sin or a bad thing, a sinful thing. It doesn't say it's absolutely not allowed, right? I mean, we're talking freedom of decision, free will. We're not talking complete freedom of consequence. So when it says in the Bible that certain things are bad, where we suspect them to have consequences both in this life and in the afterlife.
So in the Bible, it's not allowed for gay people to marry because, well, it's not allowed for the Jews, right? Because they were chosen as the people of God in the past. So
It's also supposed to be a representative thing. I mean, marrying is a Christian thing, and it's supposed to be a representation of the relationship between you, your partner, and God. And it's they've God decided that pact to be most well represented by a female, a man, and God, and it says all about this in the Bible. So why would you marry when it's a religious thing like that? Why not have a non-religious marrying then? I mean, you don't have to do it. You can do it in a church for sure. I mean, but why associate it with Christianity if you're going to go against the Christian values? I don't get the problem here. I mean,
Of
Christianity
course.
doesn't say everyone should be. See, he agrees with me. So Christianity doesn't say everyone should be Christian, and while we're Christian, none of these mistakes are going to be committed, etc. No. If you don't want to be Christian, go ahead. I mean, do whatever you want outside of it. We just believe in different consequences. So no, it doesn't forbid
So
it. It doesn't say that no one can do sin. It says that people do sin all the time, and that you should repent and be grateful.
it's as if people said, okay, but let's say in the future, it's good to kill some people, right? Some group of people. Maybe, I don't know. People are crazy. That is going to happen at some point.
Hmm.
And they say, okay, well, we want to be Christians who want to kill these people, right?
Yeah,
So allow us. Well, no, because you can't kill people uh, because of the 10 laws, the 10
yeah,
commandments. So
yeah, or at least murder. Yeah,
you can't create, you could try to create your own religion, but you're not following the Christianity
yeah.
in that
You can't
case.
get both at the same time.
Yeah,
You can't just hold a book in your hand and say you're Christian, right?
because you just
Yeah,
don't get it. So you're neither in the end.
yeah. Now you can sin and be Christian. There's no
Yeah,
issue with that. But I mean, on purpose going against it and then still calling yourself a devout Christian. I mean,
it's
it
not
doesn't make
taking
sense.
responsibility,
No.
not
So this isn't a
understanding.
moral question that the Bible answers at all, according to society here. It just says, well, don't do it because marriage is a Christian thing. And if you're not Christian, then sure, go ahead, do what you want. But it's not true marriage.
Okay.
Of our time. Should gay people be allowed to get married? Of course, that's not even complicated.
We
Okay,
didn't
tell
say
me the
otherwise.
yeah. No, I mean tell me the uncomplicated solution as to why it's obvious to why people should
It's
marry like this
obvious
and that.
because it's a good thing, right?
This is the guy that we get an order from Hitler to like burn a bunch of Jews or something, and he'd be like, "Of course, that's not even complex. Like, that's just obvious."
Yeah.
I love people who just say that all the time. Like we have
But
these
religion
discussions
often
about
says
really
no.
difficult topics,
Should women be
and he just like, "Of course, that's
even
obvious."
complicated? But religion
Like, yeah, they're just stating, yeah, what happened
Yeah,
in Sodom and Gomorrah,
yeah.
and you don't
Boom.
like it.
often says no. Should women be housewives and basically subservient to men?
What?
Well, he has his view on what religion says about it.
Yeah. This I want to point this out again. That, like people aren't leaving because of this stuff.
No.
My gay friend is still Christian and married, by the way. So
No, they have their own lives. They
Sorry, bad timing.
are not here to serve us. Well, there are a lot of churches
wait,
that
wait,
might
wait,
say
wait. Read that.
So, wives and husbands. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord. Okay? So,
For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. So he doesn't show the complete verse here. It says that men should also submit to their women as to the Lord.
we could do that exercise of searching for the actual text.
Yeah, yeah. Do
Do you
do
have the
that.
text? I can screen share it if you send it.
Okay, okay. Give me a second here, and I will find. Let's see here. Bible verse on wives and husbands. I don't remember the specific number. That's why I'm searching it
I
like
know.
I am. Uh. So yeah, this is Ephesians 5:22 to 33. So wives, submit to your
Can you send
husbands
the
as to
link?
the Lord. For the husband, oh yeah, sure. Goodnewsuk.com sounds like a great source. I am the sorcerer. So
Okay.
yeah. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. All right, so we're talking about like self-sacrificial love. All right, if you ladies don't want to submit to that, then and we're not talking submit as in the sense of like Allah and Islam and stuff like that, like being a slave. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking submit in marriage. So we're not talking about some like, oh, just stay at home and listen to everything I
This is
say. No,
talking
that's not
about
what we're talking
having
about.
this, like, not going against each other,
Yeah. So to make her holy, cleansing her
to
by
align their
washing
own.
with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle. This is like talking about the church as well. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. So everyone who is married are narcissists. That's what this guy would conclude. After all, no one ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cares for it just as Christ does the church. For we are members of his body. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So you're supposed to take as well care of everyone else as you take care of yourself in a marriage. Also, one thing I have to say that this is, I don't know, who is the narrator in Ephesians? Do you know that?
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, okay, so I'm sort of tired of this one thing where people believe that everything it says in the Bible verbatim is like laws. That's not the case. It's a God-inspired
This
book.
is actually a letter to the
Yeah, yeah.
church in Ephes. If I don't know, the Ephesians, the people
Yeah,
that
well,
lived there.
yeah, exactly. So it's not like I said, oh I picked up after my dog today, and after that I yelled hallelujah, and then like that's not something you would have to follow if that was said in a letter. So yeah, no, stop treating the Bible as this set of laws. There are laws in it, but not every single sentence there is a law. There's this parable where Jesus actually says, in the place of a king is saying this, but he's saying that the king says it in a story. Sam Harris actually used this, as if Jesus was the one that was actually saying it. And it goes like this, like, show me the one who does not believe in me, bring him in front of me and execute him. And anyone who does not believe in me, bring him in front of me and execute him. That's not, I mean, Jesus said it, but that's not what he means, right? He's talking about a king that said this, and he's quoting him. So yeah, no, don't treat everything as
Literal.
verbatim laws. Even though this is good, like this is
Yeah,
good stuff. Wives submit to your husbands, and husbands treat your wives as Jesus treats the
as part of
church.
your own body.
Yeah, and as part of your own
And
body. I mean, this is the golden rule. This is literally the best rule ever made. Like in any given scenario, follow the golden rule, and you'll be good. So I don't see, this is he's using the absolute best, most agreed upon moral rule that we as humanity has ever come up with, and he's saying this is the moral bankruptcy of
because he
Christianity.
chose
Good job.
he chose the graphs, he chose the first part of the text, so he's
He
clearly
chose the cow.
very biased. Yeah. Okay, let's
Say
continue.
women are equal, but whose treatment of women says something very different.
Which
Oh
is
yeah, so
not
sacrificing yourself for other people
which
is
is not different at all within atheists.
oh no, of
No.
course not. Yeah, like
Should
just having sex with
transgender
a bunch
people
of
be
women
treated?
and never emotionally connecting with any woman, and you know not saving yourself and stuff like that. Yeah, great stuff. Very good. This is how to treat women.
Yeah.
No, sorry. You're
With
wrong.
respect
1 second, I'll go back.
is something very different. Should transgender people be treated with respect and have civil rights?
According to the Bible, yes.
Yes.
Also, the music in the background I didn't notice before now. Doom, ding, ding, doodle, doom. Oh, the moral bankruptcy is so corrupt. The abortion laws are gone abrupt. Oh, and he's like, he's
Yeah.
taking this seriously.
But so far, yeah, trans people are respected. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Bible doesn't say otherwise.
No.
But as with the gay people, it's like you can't do both, right? You can't just say you're a sinner and like you can't say I am a Christian, but I don't follow the Bible.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
and be allowed to serve in the military.
Well, that's a complex thing. I don't know.
Wait, what did he say?
Like,
To
are
be
they able to serve in the military?
That's not by Christian law, actually. Okay, so I have ADHD, right? Uh, and if I were to go to the military, they would say, no, you can't get in. And that's because there's a history in my family of any psychological disease. If I have bad sight, I can't go into the military. If like all of these things are factors, at least in my country, Norway, where it's quite liberal like that,
Yeah.
where you're not allowed to do this. Now, the rates of trans people and people with suicidal thoughts, etc., are very high within the same families. There's this friend, this daughter of a friend of my dad's. Her dad killed himself 1 week before she was supposed to become a police officer. Because of that, she didn't get to become a police officer because they have to have really, really solid mental profiles on people that are supposed to protect the people and stuff like that. So when you walk around with blue hair and say that you're a woman when you have a dick and etc., and you're like breaking down every 5 minutes, that it's not because you say you're trans that you don't get into the military. I'd say there's plenty of trans people that would get into the military. It's just the psychological profiles of these people are generally worse. That's just how it is. This is not a biased thing. Like find any study on this.
Yeah.
It's actually under the DSM-5. I'm pretty okay. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that in the DSM-5, it's called gender dysphoria, right? It's a mental disease by the official records, the most updated records. Let me actually find that just to be certain, because that's important to not get wrong. DSM 5 gender dysphoria. Yeah, yeah. So uh, the DSM 5. Let me just. So that's the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, right? So if you're on the DSM-5 thing, even stuff like narcissism, if this is proven, then you can be kicked out or prohibited from entering the military. This does not have anything to do with the fact that they have a certain belief in a certain something and therefore they're not allowed, and it certainly doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. So yeah, he's again, he just does not know what he's talking about, and he's inferring a lot of stuff.
Some Christians still don't believe they exist. Should we make it harder for poor people
That would be funny, like, oh, they believe God exists, but they don't believe trans people exist. Haha, the
to have health
hypocrisy.
care if they exist? Should we make it harder for poor people to have health care? Jesus was all about helping the poor.
Wait, he's saying that Christians
what?
don't want poor people to have healthcare.
What?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But conservative Christians have fought against what they call socialism.
Wait. Oh no. Is he a socialist?
Yeah, it looks like that's the thing.
Let's just continue.
Should we discriminate against Muslims and atheists and treat them like
Oh
outsiders?
no, wait. He said what they call socialism.
No.
But conservative Christians have fought against what they call socialism.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So is this one of those guys? Because I've debated these people where I say, okay, so under Stalin and under Mao Zedong and stuff like that, millions of people died, and the economy first went great, and then it went really badly because people started snitching and the corrupt leaders, etc. And then they come to me and say, no, that wasn't real socialism. Let's try again.
I don't think he's
This
like
will
that.
work so good. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm not. After hearing, I wasn't gonna assume stuff here, but after hearing what he said about everything else, I wouldn't hold it against him.
No, but modern day socialism is not that.
Yeah, I live in one of the most socialistic places ever, Norway.
Yeah,
So
but that's not socialism like that.
it's not real
Like
socialism
communism.
unless 100 million people
But it's
die.
not the same. It doesn't work in the same way.
No, no. So yeah,
Should we
we're only 5
discriminate
million people, so it can't be socialism because you'd have to kill 50 million for
I
for it to be
mean,
true socialism.
Spanish government is a socialist government, so. But it's just
Oh wow.
like
Yeah.
the other one. It's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
They're just missing Franco, I think.
yeah. Frankly,
Frankly, yeah.
against Muslims and atheists
Wait.
and treat all socialism? Should we discriminate against Muslims and atheists and treat them like outsiders?
Outsiders to Christianity?
Yes.
Yes. Like what? Isn't that what they want?
Most young people, I
Do you think
grew up
Muslims
so-
would like if I go up to a Muslim and say, "Hey, brother in Christ," like would he would he be like, "Yes, he's not treating me like an outsider," like what? Or an atheist, like, "Hey, son of God," and like what? It makes no sense.
atheists and
That's
treat
their own
them
wishes.
like outsiders? Most young people, I think, grew up surrounded by friends who didn't always share their religious background.
okay,
You
but-
still do that. I mean,
they're still outsiders to Christianity.
yeah.
We all know religious minorities. We
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
we know of religious minorities. Great. argument.
know they are good, decent, caring people.
Wait,
And
what?
yet the
that he knows that minorities are good people.
Oh yeah, all minorities are good people.
Yes, because poor minorities. I mean, they might be good people, but not because they're minorities. That's just
I mean,
like they're people, right? So,
Hamas terrorist organization, minority, great people. ISIS, religious minority, great people.
but according
Um,
to his standard, yes, they're minorities, so they're good people. It's like
yeah,
they're
they
not
would
the
have
same.
to be. Wait, he says these things. This is a propaganda technique again. We know that this is a good thing. We just know, like what? Really? Just like you know everything else you've said so far? Which, by the way, none of it has been correct.
Yeah.
Not even the statistics.
No.
The few things that aren't his deluded thought process are he just managed to get wrong as well.
way
Other than
some
that, he's mentioned belly buttons. That was correct.
pastors talk about non-Christians is appalling. Do you think your Jewish friend deserves to burn in hell forever? Well, your pastor probably does.
No, he
Probably
doesn't.
does. No, it doesn't. I have never ever seen a Christian person that believes Jews will burn in hell.
Because
Nor
he
that
will know
any
better.
other person. Yeah,
We'll talk
But he will.
this guy will. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he knows
No,
and still chooses to oppose.
I don't think this guy knows. I think he could plead in
No,
ignorance
he
with
said
Saint Peter.
at the beginning something about being part of church.
For about 2 decades now, we've seen a really
I don't think he
huge
did.
shift
No?
in this country when it comes to religious beliefs. A lot fewer Christians.
Wait.
I think he just made
Number
an
one.
example.
The internet. If you went to Sunday school as a kid, maybe you asked a question like, why do Adam and Eve have belly buttons in all the pictures? And the teacher didn't answer you, or she told you to just have faith.
It looks like he's part of it, right? When he's talking.
No, I don't think so. I
Or
disagree.
maybe
on
you
that,
were
but-
older and you asked your pastor if Anne Frank, the Jewish girl with
Okay, yeah, no.
I don't think he
Nobody
was
knows
able to
that.
ask questions at that age. He's still not there. He
This is
just
the high
assumes
point.
everything.
Wait, looking forward to it.
Do you think your
Okay.
Jewish friend deserves to burn in hell forever?
yeah.
Well, your pastor probably does.
I think this is
We'll
getting
talk
comments.
about some other specific moral issues in a bit, but if conservative Christians and Mormons and Southern Baptists and Catholics can't even get the simplest moral
Whenever my answer is the correct answer, it's very simple. You just are stupid.
Yeah, super simple.
You
super
don't get
simple.
it.
questions
Powerful
right,
arguments.
And you're also evil.
Yes, of course.
why
But
would
no one should burn in
anyone
hell.
No. There are no evil people, only you.
trust their judgment on anything else? Number 4. hypocrisy.
Yeah, I've
The
seen 7 minutes
distance
of that.
between what religions preach and what religious people do has never been larger.
That's.
Are you sure about that?
I think that he made some examples in the medieval times. I think that was more like it. Anyways,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
just.
That's just
People
stupid.
always think the present is always so much worse than the past.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the apocalypse is coming.
Well, it is coming,
Just
but
like yesterday. Like,
it's ever closer.
yeah.
They say they care about the poor, but we see some church leaders and televangelists living these luxurious lives.
Okay.
He has to be a communist. Like, come on.
Yeah.
People have money and
Lifestyles.
therefore they
They
should
say
give it
they
away.
love
Wait. Put the picture. That's like so petty.
styles. They say they love
That's him.
LGBTQ people.
It looks like he's
but they
laughing at this guy.
Yeah.
spread lies about them, oppose civil rights for them, and work very hard to make their lives miserable.
Wait, whom?
They say they love LGBTQ
Pastors.
people, but they spread lies about them, oppose civil rights for them, and work very hard to make their lives miserable.
Well, if I don't agree with something, it's not like I want to make his life miserable, but I don't think he should get special.
We're making his life miserable. Admit it.
Well, he deserves it.
Yeah.
That was a joke. Probably.
Yeah, probably. We'll see.
They oppose abortion, and yet more than a third of women who got abortions, according to one 2014 study, were evangelical.
Wait. The majority of abortion patients indicated a religious affiliation. Well, that
Religious
is,
affiliation. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Like, he could believe
Even
in...
so, is he saying that like people that
He could be a Buddhist
they
for all I
shouldn't?
know, and he has nothing to do with Christianity.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just let him go on.
Yeah.
Evangelical or Roman Catholic, two groups that actively fight to block women from getting abortions that their own members are apparently getting. Pastors will deliver
Does he
sermons
or
about
does
the
he not
Wait.
believe in abortion?
Wait. Okay, so let me. Okay, so he's saying that since. Okay, so let's say a sin is to curse. I do that sometimes, right? And I curse. Okay, so well, since your own people curse, even though they're trying to advise against it, this is hypocrisy. No, I can very easily say, this is something that I do that's bad. You shouldn't do it, and I'm trying not to do it.
Well, if they are taking abortion, it's probably because, well, they didn't have...
Something bad must have happened
Yeah.
already, like getting pregnant not on purpose, being raped. Not having protection.
It's not planned.
No, it's not planned abortion. You don't get like pregnant so that you can have an abortion. That's
and
not what
that
happens.
you can be a hypocrite.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
what
mean,
people avoid most.
I don't think a lot of people do abortions and they're like, oh no, that was all right. Let's do another one. Like, it's not like people like doing abortions.
Let's try again. Anyways,
So
I don't think this has to be explained further. It's just...
no.
members are apparently getting. Pastors will deliver sermons about the importance of monogamy and the problems with porn, then get caught in sex scandals. Sometimes with same-sex partners. Sometimes it's abuse involving kids. They're pro-life, but they're also pro-gun and pro-death penalty.
I mean, people sin, yeah. The reason you view these things as as hypocritical things, is because we have a moral standard, and yes, we break it. Not on, I mean, some on purpose, of course.
I mean, he
the
says-
act is on purpose, but
The way he says they're pro-life and pro-death penalty. Well, I mean, it's not hypocrisy because it's pro-baby's life. Yeah, he did it just
Yeah.
better. And pro murder, well, pro kill the murderers because they chose to
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
and not once, multiple
Yeah,
times.
so strange. He
They
just
say
doesn't
truth
know.
matters, but they'll vote for politicians who lie, cheat, and
I mean,
steal.
if
And the
both
thing is,
politicians that I have to choose between lie, and
Lie.
I vote for one of them because that's my only choice, what does that have to do with
No, but the
anything?
other party always lies more, right?
You don't have orange hair, and you voted for Donald Trump. Haha.
everyone can see
see.
this. It's not a dirty little secret. I'm not saying atheists or Democrats are perfect by any means.
But they're much better.
Much better.
Of course
yeah.
not. But when you build your reputation on being ethical, but constantly get caught doing the opposite,
They can talk all they want about not being hypocritical, but they won't follow a thing they say.
No.
people can see that faith is not a virtue. Being Christian doesn't mean you're a good person.
No, it doesn't. That's true.
You might be,
Yeah.
but everyone knows you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt.
Well, that's stupid.
That's dumb, yeah.
I mean, law
Don't-
is
don't let
based on
this
the
guy,
benefit of the doubt.
Number
Yeah,
5, kids.
I hate kids.
That's
He's going to start
probably
like
does.
that.
Even if you left church as you grew older, there was always a trend of people returning to church when they got married and had children. It kind of made sense. You wanted to raise your kids in church because you believed that was the right thing to do. It's where they learn ethics and morals. But going back to the hypocrisy thing, do you really believe you're helping your kids by having someone teach
Yes.
them myths about how the world was
No,
created?
myths.
Well,
Or that
that's
God will send them to
that's called begging the question. This is the presupposition of the question is that it is a myth. We don't believe it to be a myth, therefore we send them there. We're not saying that it would be better to send our children there because they will learn myths. No, this is like me saying, Gabin, why are you gay? The issue is the question isn't right. Now, this question, well, he doesn't know what a question is. He doesn't ask questions. He just knows everything about everything.
He only asks rhetorical questions. according to
Rhetorical
him.
questions, yeah. So he's saying, "Oh, do you really think it's good to teach them myths?" It's like, no, I don't think so. Well, actually, some myths, right? Children's television is full of what you'd call myths about morals and stuff. And
Stories are all based on the same, I think, like 11 myths.
yeah, and so I mean, first of all, yes, I would believe that even if it was a Christian myth, I still believe it would be good for them. So that doesn't remove the argument. Second of all, we don't believe that to be the case. So yeah, and this is not a
hell
reason
if
why
they don't
people leave
worship
Christianity.
Jesus.
Well,
That no one goes to hell because they don't worship Jesus. What is this nonsense?
Or that their religious beliefs are right, but everyone else's are wrong.
yeah, like being
Wait.
atheist and you being
Go
right.
back. That's a slip of the tongue right there.
And myths about how the world was created. Or that God will send them to hell if they don't worship Jesus. Or that their religious beliefs are right, but everyone else's are wrong. Do you think
They'll send them to hell because their belief is right and everyone else is wrong. Yeah, that's why you get sent to hell, because you're right and everyone else is wrong. Okay, yeah. Continue.
No, that the parents say that their belief is right and everyone else's is wrong. Not that they
Oh,
will
that's
go
the
to
reason
hell.
you should. Well, you don't need to say that everyone else's is wrong. You just need to say, well, this is a solid belief, and I believe in it. That's all the justification you need. Everyone else doesn't have to be wrong. But if you believe one position to be right,
Just like
certain
he believes
oppositions
the
would
Democrats
have
are
to be
right.
wrong by definition. That's a
Just like he
dichotomy of
believes
information.
the socialism and the Democrats are
What do you
right
say?
and the Republicans are wrong. Is it? It's the same.
What?
Like just as he says, yes, the Republicans are wrong because I am a socialist and a Democrat, and I am right.
Oh yeah. He believes that it's a myth and therefore it's not good because everyone should believe it's a myth. But we don't believe it's a myth, and even if it was a myth, it would be good for the children. Yeah.
Catholic Church is really the epitome of ethics these days? Do you really want to
We're not talking about Catholic Church. What are you talking about?
Christianism.
Yeah.
leave your
We're
kid
talking
alone
about
with the
El
priest?
Cristianismo.
all men are rapists.
I don't think
All
he's
priests
talked
are
about the
pedophiles.
topic for 7 minutes.
If you want to teach your kids to be decent people, there are plenty of other ways to do it.
Well, yes.
Yeah, like the
but
other Christian denominations.
there are plenty of ways to teach everyone everything.
Atheists like to pretend that their ethics are not based on Christian values, and it's adorable.
These days. Also, when you have kids, it's hard to find time to go out at all. Church used to be worth it for a lot of people, but that seems to be happening less and less, partly because of all the other things I'm mentioning here, and partly because our society is just getting more isolated. We don't gather as much as we used to, period. Even outside
this
of
under
pandemic.
COVID?
Yeah.
Number 6, science. Climate change is real.
It's gonna be a good one.
Most young people understand this, and they know we're in.
Wait, where does the Bible say that climate change isn't real? It actually says that like the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah.
Climate change is real.
Doesn't get more real
Number
than that.
6, science. Climate change is real.
Just wanted to hear it 2 more times because I didn't hear it 1,000 before.
Okay.
Most young
Yeah.
people understand this, and they know we're in trouble if governments don't take quick action. And yet a lot of opposition to climate science and stem cell research and evolution.
Yes, because
Well,
all
they
are related to climate change.
yeah, you don't
how to
need
respond
opposition.
to
This guy seems to believe that everything that isn't actively following his beliefs is an opposition. That's not the case. You can have inactive positions, right? You can have defensive positions.
I
I can
think-
say Christianity is true and be on my own. I don't need to combat atheism. What he's saying here is if you're not actively on the side of like climate change activist, then you're against it. That's not the case. That's not a dichotomy. It's a false dichotomy.
Yeah. He's just like jealous that he got to go outside to church and he didn't.
A pandemic comes from religious groups who oppose those things for reasons that have nothing to do with the facts.
What are the facts? Nobody knows
Yeah, what
the
are the
facts.
facts? He
Nobody
hasn't
even
stated a
knows what
single one.
happened in the COVID pandemic.
We're in 2024 at this point. Yeah, he keeps talking about the facts that we all know, but I
Yes,
don't know.
but
Maybe he's written a note or something. Maybe we need to be Patreon
I
to
think
get
he's
to know the facts.
Masonic, part of the Masonic
Yeah, I
people,
haven't
and
heard
he
any
knows
facts. Yeah.
everything.
Even Jehovah's
like-
Witnesses oppose blood
They
I was
witnessed.
going to mention those guys. Yeah. I was going to mention that he's like the
transfusions. It's
facts
not
with
just
witnesses.
Even Jehovah's Witnesses oppose blood transfusions. It's not just political.
Well, they think.
I don't know if they all do that. Like, sorry, but
I think it's a part of their religion, but I'm not so sure.
yeah, but according to
It's-
him, they don't follow their religion like no one does.
Oh
so-
yeah, true. No, yeah, it's some.
Core. Science is about proving what we can
Like they just die if they
Yeah.
if they get in an accident.
Let him play. Come on.
and discovering evidence and asking tough questions and using all the resources at our disposal to answer them. Religion is about none of that. It's about taking things on faith and believing things even when your mind tells you they can't be true. Even if you're able
Just like believing that the Earth is not flat. That can't be right. Can't be right, can it? Just like believing that the universe is intelligible, that is possible to understand it, like Christianity introduced with the concepts of God. If you find any statistics on Christianity being related to progress within science, you'll find overwhelming numbers there. This is not
Newton
a
was,
secret. He doesn't know this, but yeah,
Wait, actually,
he doesn't.
Newton was openly Christian.
Yeah.
Also, Gauss, the mathematician I told you about, was also
Yeah.
a Christian.
Oh, Gaussian theory. Yeah. Also, like if you look at Darwin in his last commentaries, he was actually speaking about how he regretted some of the stuff. I'm not saying that evolution is wrong and all that. He made some great stuff, but he was talking about some new things he was thinking about relative to religion and stuff. So he was religious. but you use them all the time to like disproving religion. Da-da. And yeah, no, it's really stupid.
To
Because
ask hard questions, you're always told the answer is to be found in one book and only one book.
no,
This is one of the fallacies, isn't it? Is it
Yeah.
only only if or something like that?
yeah, no, silly
They're
stuff.
just two polar opposite ways of looking at the world.
Science
We have far too many
and
examples right
yeah,
now.
one is called historical, and the other is called scientific.
Of where we need a scientific approach, but we're only getting a religious one. No thank you.
He just why is he talking about this? He doesn't get it.
Number 7, sex. A lot of religious groups push this idea that you must be sexually abstinent until marriage or you're broken. Right-wing Christians push for abstinence-only sex education in schools. The schools won't get federal funding unless they do that. They don't even want people learning about condoms or birth control.
The statistics on this is
definitely
clear.
don't want anyone
It's just better. Like, find these things you call facts. You can find them in studies. Go read one book. He'll come back twice as smart.
He believes in the Church of Democrats.
Does he just think like everyone should be going around being polygamous? Like what is
Yeah.
what is wrong with it, man? Like the studies are clear. Like opposite sex partners, one of them, marriage, kids.
It's
Out life,
almost
best solution.
as if
In
he
every
wants the
case.
kids to.
Not culture. Maybe he's just like, come on, ladies, why don't you, you can do a little more than one partner. Don't you have some
Anyways,
space
we
for
can go.
me?
telling high schoolers about what good sex means and how that's different for everyone,
Well, I mean,
Yeah, he doesn't know what that
or
means.
the importance of consent, or the idea that sexual
wasn't consent really what we just read in the Bible? Anyways, it just like pushes a lot of stuff that isn't good about modern day like problems, and he says, yeah, it's because of religion.
identities are on a spectrum.
Wait.
Consent, or the idea that sexual identities are on a spectrum. They think talking about it will make kids want to do it. Like if we just pretend sex doesn't exist, no one will ever think about it. Right. Those people have never met teenagers, apparently. And if
Well, I mean,
Whoever those people are, I mean, he invented those people, so.
we don't tell them about the gay, and we never say transgender, then everyone will just be straight and cis, and we can keep having gender reveal parties.
Hallelujah.
This mentality has always been stupid. But now we're learning how harmful that is.
I mean, I was talking about the soundboard and effects and stuff. I think I want that. Like that. This idea's always been stupid.
Thanks to studies that show how kids who took abstinence-only classes are just as sexually active as everyone else, if not more so. But more importantly, they don't take precautions. Whenever there's a teen pregnancy outbreak somewhere, you can bet good money they
Because it's warmer down there.
Yeah, makes sense.
did not have comprehensive sex ed. And you can also bet there's a huge religious presence in the community.
Actually, socialists don't have sex.
Wait, what?
In China, right?
Babies are just like teleported into reality. Yep.
Yeah.
It's not just school though. It's the whole religious mentality that equates sex with shame. And more people today are willing to say how wrong that is.
Well,
Like
public sex, yeah.
No,
Like
no, no.
talking about it. It's an intimate thing. That should be shameful, but not like and doing it like randomly everywhere and defiling the sacred thing between two intimate partners. Yeah, for sure, that should be shameful. The Bible and Christianity has
Nowadays,
no
nothing
position
is shameful.
where it's talking about it being shameful. And it certainly hasn't happened today. It's not that it's super shameful in Christianity and therefore people are leaving.
I mean, he believes shame is wrong because it makes people feel bad. So nobody
Yeah, no,
should
you
be
shouldn't feel
corrected
bad about
ever.
anything. No,
Who
that's
live
wrong.
that pro-abstinence life who are now speaking out and saying they wish they were never raised to think sex was a dirty word. Even Joshua Harris, the evangelical who spearheaded the whole purity culture
It looks like the one in Oppenheimer.
Yep.
movement, apologized because he finally figured out how much damage he did. You know who else has bravely
Wait,
spoken out?
what damage are we talking about? Like, okay, let's say they believed that sex was this bad thing. What are they regretting? Like, oh, I didn't have a body count of 100 when I was 14. Oh, and now I'm 26. What am I supposed to do? Ah. Like, what what is this? What are these damages, irreparable damages for not having a constant fixation of sex in my upbringing? Like, what are the damages? Tell me. What are these studies? He never shows them. Come on.
Sexual assault victims who
Mega church.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. It's mega church. Wait, go back. Let him finish a sentence at least.
You know who else has bravely spoken out? Sexual assault victims who were abused, maybe by their church leaders, but who didn't tell.
Maybe. Like,
Maybe. Yeah,
he's up
let's
to
just add a
saying
maybe.
maybe.
He should just like do every single statistic on bad things like crimes
Be
in the
maybe
US
about.
and then be like maybe your Christian friend did this.
Yeah.
And then like every good thing, maybe the atheist.
Even
is
the
great
people
stuff.
closest to them, because the bigger crime in their heads was that they were no longer technically a virgin. It took them years to realize they didn't do anything wrong.
Wait. Is he saying that these people who were sexually assaulted should not feel bad about losing their virginity because virginity doesn't matter anyway, so it was fine?
Yes.
Is that what he seriously said?
Yes.
I thought I misheard this the first time, and I didn't care to go back.
Crime and who didn't tell even the people closest to them, because the bigger crime in their heads was that they were no longer technically a virgin. It took them years to realize they didn't do anything wrong. And thank goodness they're letting people know that.
Okay, well,
That they let
okay, now
other
his
people
position
know.
made more sense because it's like, okay, I'm not a virgin, so I don't want to say that I was sexually assaulted. But in the sexual assault cases, in most of them, it's children being sort of probed for it, so they don't think there's anything wrong with any of it. And that's not a Christian thing exclusively, right? This is human evil. Do we as Christians believe that humans are not evil and that we perfectly follow the example? No. If that was the case, we wouldn't need the book. Jesus wouldn't have had to come down here and sacrifice himself for our sins. None of this would have happened. And yeah, we'd just all be sent to heaven without ever having to hear about God because we would be following a perfect example. We don't. Therefore, we have our faith.
I see. I took what he said differently.
Yeah, I did so first as well. It sounded really bad in that, but that's what he meant. That they didn't speak up about being sexually assaulted because they thought that, oh no, then I'll say that I'm not a virgin anymore. So this makes more sense. I just misinterpreted him.
Yeah, that argument makes sense.
Yeah.
The way religions treat sex
But it's still, he treats it like
It
it's
has nothing to do
of
with the point
value.
though. So yeah.
is finally and rightfully backfiring. And just to be clear, I am not making any judgment on
No, I
Let him
don't
finish.
believe you.
people who choose to be abstinent. If you want to wait, fine. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but that's very different from saying you have to wait or else. That is a problem. Number
Yeah, because if
Well,
it
or
has a
else.
consequence,
If something has a consequence,
then that's bad. Like, you
I
can't
like
say
that.
nothing has
I
consequences.
want to do everything.
Great.
No consequences.
Dating. There was a time when church was the best place to meet a potential partner.
I think he's chosen the 10 things he cares the most about.
But besides the fact that a lot of people meet online now, here's a simple question. If you're single and looking to meet someone, what's the biggest deal breaker for you? There's a good chance that politics may be more important to you than religion. If you're a Democrat, for example, you might say, I cannot date a Trump voter, and vice versa. And that makes sense, right? I mean, it's not just about your feelings about Trump. It's kind of a stand-in for a lot of things you take seriously. It answers a lot of questions really fast. But if you're not that religious, and you meet someone who says, I'm Jewish, or I'm Christian but not too serious about it, or I believe in some higher power, you might just not care. A lot of labels don't come with baggage. I know a lot of atheists who date people who are not atheists. You just need to know the other person more.
What?
Like it's bad not to be an atheist. That's his point.
It's very, very strange. Like, oh no, it doesn't have to come with baggage. You can approach a Christian if you want. They won't kill you or anything.
The same
Like
would
it's-
not be said with a Muslim if you are in a Muslim country, though. But I, I get what he means.
Or today, more than ever, you're more likely to meet someone who's just not that religious, and it's not weird. But the point is, you have so many other ways to meet people who share the values you hold dear that you don't need church to facilitate it.
Yeah, it's better to meet people in Mythic or these kind of apps.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he advocating Tinder like as a better thing?
Maybe
and
he has
that,
a sponsor.
Like, people are, yeah, Tinder. Like maybe people are. His point is people are leaving because churches can no longer be used as effectively as other dating apps.
Yes.
Yeah, great argument. Let's continue.
In fact, you may not want church to have anything to do with it. Along the same lines, because there are more of these inter-religious couples nowadays, that means they're more likely to raise their kids either without a specific religion or with some weird amalgamation of different
It's
beliefs.
so strange because he's taking like a Christian life from the perspective of an atheist. It's very, very strange.
Yeah. It's like he knows what he's talking about.
Doesn't really
You just
have a label.
misrepresent.
You know, you'll celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah.
Chris Mecca.
That's a bad name. I'm sorry for whoever did that. But
Chris Mecca. Just have you're circling
it's
the Kaaba.
also Muslim.
Why not? And if your church tells you that's wrong, whatever, forget church. Number 9.
It's like, what? I'm wrong? I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Friends. This is along the same lines as dating. One reason so many people are tied to their religion is not because they agree with all the doctrine, but because that's their community. It's where their closest friends are. It's where they can volunteer. It's where they feel special. It's where they can find potential romantic partners. And I'm not knocking that. That's great if you like church.
If like you're a weirdo.
if you like church, then it's great to have friends, a community, a place where you feel special, and
It's
a
like he's
potential
talking-
place for meeting partners. If you like church, that's not great if you don't like church, of course. Like what?
It's talking. He's talking like if he was talking about feet fetishists or something like that.
yeah.
Like it's
It is
fine,
strange.
you know. I don't judge you.
I hope you have something like that in your life. But these days, you don't need to be part of a church to find people to bond with.
That was never the case. Okay, thank you.
You can find communities no matter what your passion is.
Oh yeah.
You like a video game? I promise there's an online forum obsessed with it, and
You
they'd
like
love to
feet?
talk to you.
I'm sure
Same
there's
with
a forum
meetup groups
obsessed
or
with it.
intramural sports or subreddits or drama club. I mean, if you don't like the family you were born into, you can find a new one that
Did he just do
embraces you with open
family in quotation marks?
intramural sports or subreddits or drama club. I mean, if you don't like the family you were born into, you can find a new one that embraces you with open arms.
If you're
Like, I don't
if
like
you're
you,
born
Dad.
into a Christian family, you don't have a family. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like you, mom and dad. I want a new family, and you go to whatever dude that's smoking weed in the
Why
street.
10 reasons why people are leaving their families? Like
And when it's easy to find other communities, it's also easier to walk away from church if you're not that big into the dogma. Number 10, rituals. Even people who were never that religious tend to go back to church for a few things. You want a priest to conduct your
Your
wedding,
family and religion.
but not anymore. How
The
many of
rituals.
us either did or know someone who paid a few bucks online to get ordained to perform a ceremony for friends of ours who are getting married? It's more meaningful since you all know each other. There are also humanist celebrants and secular celebrants and non-priests who will do that for you now. You don't need
yeah, so
church.
why do that with?
You want to baptize
okay,
your
I see.
baby? Well, that usually only happens if both partners agree, but the odds are pretty good that at least one of you doesn't take baptism seriously.
What? Why is this an argument for like people to leave? Okay, so everyone do the same Christian rituals, no matter if they are Christian or not. Therefore, people are leaving. I don't get it. He still
No.
has not talked about why people are leaving.
You're not
And if he does, he's lying, because we just refuted it.
gonna do
Yeah,
it then,
from the
unless
start.
there's family pressure. And with more people leaving religion, we're gonna see this even bigger wave of second and third generation atheists.
Even more Christian
or kids who were
rituals.
just raised without faith and don't
Even
attach
less
a lot of
families.
meaning to religious
There's
rituals.
more car.
One day they're gonna learn what Catholics believe about communion wafers, and their jaws will drop.
That it's the flesh of Christ.
It's like,
Oh my
No.
God! He
no,
actually
no,
sacrificed.
no, you can't say that. You're an atheist. You can't say, oh my god.
No, that's yeah.
We sometimes joke about people who say they're religious but only go to church on Christmas and Easter. I would
I don't go to church neither on Christmas or
Me
Easter.
neither.
Maybe we're
Hilarious.
just built different.
Yeah, we're just built
strongly
different.
predict that even those are going to become less common. If you're not religious or you're not pressured to be religious, why even go on those holidays? I enjoyed Christmas with my kids at home. There were
Yeah.
gifts, there was food, there was
Wait.
family.
What? Why even go to those holidays? Does he think Christmas is a place? Like what? What is this?
I don't
Goes to
know.
visit
We
the
didn't
Easter
need to
Bunny?
waste our time listening to a sermon. Okay, that's my list. Those are some of the biggest reasons I think people are walking away from organized religion.
I don't think people get sermons in Christmas.
No,
Either way.
Specifically Christianity.
unless they're in church.
What's on
I
your-
don't know.
Anyways.
That's. I mean, yeah, we're done with the video.
And this is the outcome. I've transitioned to the first scene. We do judge his opinion on this matter, and we found him guilty.
Yeah, no, this is.
He didn't inform us in any way of anything that was happening, really.
No, and his graphs contradicted most of what he was talking about.
And but even so, he's followed very widely.
Yeah, this is the issue, guys. All right, so we have people speaking about dogma being a bad thing. All right, and I believe dogma to be a bad thing. Right, you shouldn't have blind faith. If you have any sort of doubt, don't follow the doubt completely. Like, don't go like, well, I have doubts about whether or not my friend really cares about me, and so I'll believe that he doesn't. Right. What you do is you investigate the matter. You try to find it out on your own, and you try to find evidence, and you don't assume too much, and you see what happens. So you get the natural process aside your investigation. The issue here is, he says, dogma is bad, right? Dogma is bad, and this is dogma. So what are those two things? They're statements, dogmatic statements. Okay, So saying dogma is bad just because it's dogma, that's a dogmatic statement. That's circular argumentation, right? Like, okay, dogma is bad. Okay, why? Well, because it's dogma. Okay, uh, you have to go to bed. Why? Because it's bedtime, right? This is circular argumentation. Doesn't work. Also, it's dogmatic, the very same thing that he's criticizing. So it's hypocritical circular argumentation. This is incredible. How do you even manage? Like, that's an impressive amount of fallacies within one sentence. So, and he also says, with his own dogma, that, well, we know this, we already know that, and Christianity's bad, and people are leaving, and stuff like that. He criticizes something, uh, a dogma, with his own dogma, right? And Christianity isn't a dogma, right? You're not supposed to just believe everything it says, you're supposed to investigate. There are other religions that don't have that view, very few, but in Christianity, that simply isn't the case. Christianity is what gave birth to science and all of these things because we believe in the intelligibility of the universe. And how would the universe be intelligible? Well, if something of a higher power is has created it in a way to where it makes sense, where there's laws that it's dependent upon. Right. And so if it's dependent on laws, then the laws are dependent on something, etc. Infinite regression. We end up with something resembling a god. Now, the issue here is that he says that dogma is bad, and then he says that all of these things are just obvious. That's a dogmatic belief. So he's a dogmatic atheist that is misrepresenting, straw manning the Christian non dogmatic beliefs into being dogmatic with his own dogma. Ladies and gentlemen, that is hypocrisy at its peak. Do not listen to this guy when it comes to, at least specifically this. On another case, we've found another video from this guy named 7 Awful Reasons to Choose Christianity over Atheism, I believe. So we'll see if on the next time we're probably going to be live. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We're gonna go through that and see if he can redeem himself, because this video was just a disaster. Nothing here is satisfactory. None of the facts were represented. All the graphs are contradictory. Everything he says is just dogmatic stuff about dogma being bad when he isn't talking about dogma. Circular argumentation, fallacies, propaganda techniques, and biases by the thousands. Yeah, nothing to really agree with here except for the belly buttons. I think that's a cool point to make, but the premises around it and the framework was wrong. So, yeah, I mean, if anyone actually sees this, feel free to comment some questions or something, and we'll go through them in depth. And if there's any request for videos to react to, then we'll do that too. Hopefully something a little bit more giving than this. But yeah, we'll accept refuting a atheist any day of the week or any other ridiculous position.
We'd
Not that
rather be
atheism is ridiculous.
refuted,
This
so
form of atheism is ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'd rather be refuted so that people can see in their own flesh the arguments they're proposing and just believe more in the truth so we can find a better truth.
Yeah. So we're by no means claiming that Christianity is true here. We're just saying that his refutation or his claim here that people are leaving Christianity due to these certain things, it just doesn't work. It's a very bad argument. Now, keep in mind, what he's trying to argue for could be true, but what we're criticizing is his arguments. So yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I have to go do some stuff to leave. Gonna do yoga tomorrow, believe it or not. I don't believe it, so yoga at 6:30 in the morning. What about you?
I am sleeping at 6:30 in the morning.
Lucky fella.
Yeah, I was trying to see if anyone was here religious in the chat, like in the YouTube comments.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. I actually looked at the comments and it's all like random. I think they're of the same caliber as his arguments, basically. Like just this is because of this because
I
they
think
happen at the same
somebody
time.
just didn't understand what was going on.
Oh,
Consensual sex.
did you show them the graph, the Nicolas Cage graph?
Oh yes, how I can build. I didn't show the graph because I
Maybe you
didn't
should
have
like now
it
at the end.
set up right now. I'm gonna try my best.
Right, let's see. So ladies and gentlemen, we're just trying to demonstrate and we're trying to replicate the immaculate quality of graphing here and the perfectly balanced correlations between causation and correlation with
Okay.
a graph here.
Um. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm opening it right now. I have so many folders. So, um, if you believe in causality is in correlation is causality, I have some very bad news to show you because here we have the Nicolas Cage. I think you have it in our chat.
Yep.
Number of people who drowned by falling into a pool correlates with films Nicolas Cage appeared in.
Exactly.
From the 99 to the 2009s.
Yeah. And if you're not a bigot, then you'll realize that these two are caused by each other. And Nicolas Cage should stop playing in movies because people are drowning, and he should be more caring.
There's another graph that I didn't have today about how the apparition of the movie Nemo caused more babies to choke to death. But I saw that like a long time ago.
Yeah, no. I mean, I like the Nicolas Cage and pool deaths more, but yeah. So we're gonna work on getting our setups better and stuff. I'm not at my classical setup and in my music studio at the moment, sitting on a couch with a piano bench and a mic here, and so we're gonna get some better setup, a better setup after a while, but you'll have to bear with us so far, the few people that will see this, if anyone.
If anyone.
I'll definitely have this on in the background and be cringing for a little bit.
Yeah. Only once for me.
Only once, yeah. It's a long video. How long have we been on?
2 hours, 12 minutes, 34 seconds.